My name is Christian, and then within the next 20 to 30 minutes, you will learn about the most important things regarding QuattroPorte, our unique cabin lift. So we have summarized for you the most important things to consider when we take in account that you want to install a QuattroPorte. And what we see here is a beautiful installation, one of our units installed in a private villa. For a brief history, I want to show you that we have, in the meantime, placed many units all over Europe. And this is a real good success story within the last 5 years. And this year, we will produce around 70 units and have a worldwide presence in the meantime. Going directly into the most important things you shall take care. I have here 10 points for you. We will go into the detail of every point in the next half an hour. And you also have Julian sitting opposite to me. He will take care about the chat. So whenever you have any question you want to place, feel free to ask Julian. He will be happy to answer your questions anytime. Coming to step number 1, the usage of QuattroPorte. QuattroPorte is built to retrofit. So we are talking about private villas, about private houses, and this is where QuattroPorte is most suitable. Please take care that this unit shall not be used for any public buildings, for which reason QuattroPorte has no shaft. You will see this here in the pictures. And whenever people would put anything underneath the cabin, the lift cabin will be blocked. So there's no reason for safety. It's just the reason of the usage of the lift. And therefore, you shall consider that the lift shall be sold to private houses, to private villas. Yeah, retrofit, very easy to retrofit. You just need to open the house facade, the wall, and then you need to place the doors inside this exterior wall. But we will see that in the next few steps. During installation, we recommend that you have 2 installers, and the typical installation will be around 3 to 5 days, depending on the lift configuration, depending on the number of doors you have in place. Coming to step number 2. QuattroPorte has no shaft, and it has also basically no pit required. So the biggest advantage is that you can use the space underneath the cabin as a travel, as a pathway. You can go through with your car to your garage, to wherever you want. So this is the biggest benefit. No shaft required, and also no pit. So for this reason, there is a small step of 60 millimeters to go into the cabin. And if required, you can also have a very low ramp at the lower landing to access the cabin. Step number 3, insulated windproof lift doors. This is also a very important advantage. So you can see a picture of the door on the right side. And then you can also see that we have a triple glaze in our door frame. And we can also see that the aluminum frame of the door is separated for thermal insulation. So that means that the heat stays inside the house and cold weather, cold temperature will stay outside. The door is completely integrated into the exterior wall of the building. And this gives you, respectively your customer, the best insulation values you can get on the market. So there is no other lift system having the same insulation value, because this door is fully integrated into the building wall. On the left side, you have an interior view looking in at the open door of a typical QuattroPorte installation. And there you can also see that we can offer a flush mounted control panel for use as a coal station. This would be step number 3. A very important point is also that the insulated door is installed completely windproof inside the exterior building. So what you see here is a sealing tape. This is sealing tape making sure that the lift door is completely windproof in any existing situation. And this is also a point to be taken care during installation. And this part of the building will be covered after the installation. So this is something you need to take care afterwards for additional companies. Coming to step number 4, the required space. Whenever you want to install a QuattroPorte to a specific building, you need to make sure that first of all you have enough space at the landing area. And this is typically a space of 1.5 per 1.5 meters. I will show a typical installation drawing here on my screen. Going to bird view, you will see the required space, so 1.5 meters. And another thing you need to make sure is on the upper landing, there is enough headroom for the drive motor. So the height difference between the inner floor on the top landing and, for example, a roof on the top would be at least 2.55 meters. We will come to a point where we show the fixing of the travel rails. This is also very important, but this will be taken care of another point. Yeah, the typical platform size would be 1.5 meters, and the inner cabin height is 2 meters. A payload of QuattroPorte, for example, is 275 kg, and our standard color is RAL 9006, which is similar to silver metallic. On step number 5, we will show the external control cabinet in the building. So what you need to take care is to find a place for this control cabinet. This can be, for example, in the cellar or in the lower landing, typically a place which is not often used from the customer. And the size of the control cabinet is 1 meter height and 60 centimeter wide. We have placed these dimensions here on the left picture. And to the control cabinet, you need to make sure that there is a power supply as well. Of course, 230 volt AC. When we come to the on-site preparations on step number 6, you need to make sure that you have a solid door opening inside the exterior wall and a smooth finished plastered facade. So this is a very important point when it comes to any companies providing building work here at your local QuattroPorte installation. They need to make sure that the door opening is exactly in line. I've indicated this here with an orange line. So taking care of this point is to make sure that the door openings are exactly above each other. Also, the facade shall be smooth and finish plastered. So you need to make sure that you have a smooth surface in this area. On the right-hand side, there would be an example of a typical door opening prepared for the QuattroPorte installation. On this point, it is very important that this is smooth also on the inner side of the door opening in this area. On the bottom right-hand side, you can see examples where we show how it shall not be. So make sure that you have a good preparation of your door openings before installation. Still on number 6, on-site preparations. It is very important that when you want to install the QuattroPorte, you need to find a concrete ceiling in your building. Why is this point so important? Because doing so, we will ensure that this type of installation, this type of fixing is covered by our type statics. So looking in the right-hand picture, we will show a concrete ceiling and our fixing anchors, where we show that distance in between the concrete ceiling and the exterior holder shall maximum be 160 millimeters. Above the concrete ceiling, you have a typical floor construction, and this is the height difference you have in between the landing point and the concrete ceiling itself. So there can be a height difference, but you need to make sure that there is a concrete ceiling in a distance of 3.25 meters. If the distance is bigger than 3.5, we need to find different solutions, how to fix and how to bolt into the exterior wall of the building. In addition, you shall take care of a foundation. You can see that on the left-hand side. Foundation typically made of concrete. And this is to make sure that the rail can stand on this foundation. You can also, let's say, extract the foundation to a pit if the customer wants to access the lower landing at the same height without any steps and any ramp. Another point for on-site preparation is scaffolding. Make sure that there's proper scaffolding in place before you start the installation. Scaffolding shall be in a distance of 30 centimeters to the exterior wall. And with this scaffolding, you can then install any part of the lift, for example, travel rails, doors, whatever you have there. And make also sure that scaffolding can be reached through the scaffolding plates. On number 7, we have the electrical preparations. Make sure that you have a proper power supply connected with our own FI switch. So this is a fault circuit breaker. And you also need to make sure that earthing of running rail is in place. On another point, you shall have a landline, a telephone line. If this is not available at the place where the control cabinet is, make sure that you order a SIM module, a GSM module from us, so the customer can then place the own SIM card in the system. And this is to make sure that you have emergency call system inside the cabin. On the left-hand picture, you can see a typical control cabinet with the power supply and the connection to the lift system, to the travel rails in the cabin. Yeah, coming to point number 8, downward protection. QuattroPorte has 2 separate safety systems. So the first safety system is a safety contact tray, indicated with number 7 here on the right-hand picture. The safety tray is working mechanical. So whenever you would hit the safety tray, the lift would stop automatically. I'm sure you would find this on other lift systems as well. But making the QuattroPorte so unique is our laser scanner sitting on the lower landing, detecting for obstacles, people and persons and animals at the lower landing, sitting at the height of approximately 10 centimeters. It will stop the travel of the lift immediately as soon as somebody enters the landing area. So this is our second safety feature, and this is making the QuattroPorte so unique because the scanner would stop the cabin before it would come to any collision between obstacle or persons. Yeah, and this is a very good, important point. On the left top picture, you can see the safety scanner, the laser scanner, sitting right on the right-hand side of the travel rail. at a height of around 10 centimeters. Coming to point number 9, to the operation and control. QuattroPorte has a very unique handlebar, and inside the handlebar we have integrated the call buttons. So they are sensor operated, and you don't need to, let's say, hold and push a button continuously. You just put your hand onto the handlebar, and this will give a drive command to the lift and will then start travel up and down. Combining this type of operation with our bus door, with our folding door, will allow the lift system that it will travel itself without hold to run. So you just give a single push on the handlebar and the lift will travel to the desired stop without pushing or holding the button continuously. Coming to number 10, final finishing work after installation. Any points, let's say, in the breakthrough of the wall where you have placed the doors need to be covered after the installation. Typically, this is done from another company, building company, and you can also use, for example, plasterboard in this area if required. On the right-hand side, you would see a picture of a white special color installation. And this picture is important because it indicates that you have windows next to the QuattroPorte. And following our normatives, our safety rules, you need to make sure that these specific windows are locked. This is to make sure that nobody could, let's say, reach the travel rails and can be squeezed inside the rolls. So these are the most important points, 10 points in very short, brief time to take care, to consider during installation. At the last pages, I have summarized some impressions, some very nice installations in this page, special watercolors. And just to give you an idea what's possible with QuattroPorte, what we can do. For example, we can also, let's say, distance the lift completely from the exterior wall. And for any specific installations you have, not typically installed to a wall, you can always get in touch with us directly with our service team, for example, via office at Ascendor.at or on telephone or your desired key account managers. Just looking above on my table, if Julian has some answers or questions within the chat. We've had the questions regarding rain in the chat and also weather conditions. Let me answer this briefly. QuattroPorte is built to last outside, so it's basically just used outside, so we don't have any interior installations. The whole system is made from aluminum and therefore really suitable for outdoor installations. Also on this page you can see a unit here in Austria, also exposed to snow. This is no issue for QuattroPorte. For example, you could also place a heating system in the landing area. This is to make sure that you have no snow problems or ice problems on the lower landing. What you need to take care is that the laser scanner, of course, would detect obstacles in this area underneath the cabin. So if you have 30 centimeters of snow at the lower landing, this laser scanner would, of course, stop the whole system from driving downwards. Yeah, just checking if we have any other additional questions from the audience. Yeah, we have had questions from the audience regarding the possible door placements. For a standard, the typical door solution would be that you have one door, one building door at the upper landing. Going to a typical picture, just a moment. Just need to find a typical installation. So I've just opened a typical installation for QuattroPorte. And QuattroPorte, yes, why we have this name? Because you can have 4 doors, so 4 doors on 4 sides. And the typical installation would be that you have side access on the lower landing, and then 1 or 2 entrances into the building, into the house. So this would be a standard solution, but it would also be possible to have an entrance into the building on the lower landing as well, or for example, to go through the door on front side of the cabin and to leave, let's say, as a direct access on the upper landing straight forward. So for the moment, no other questions. I want to say thank you for your time. Thank you for being with me, for all our visitors from all over the world. Looking forward to your questions, to your inquiries. All the best. Have a good time. Cheers. Bye-bye.